What the heck is happening in HR is thrilled to have David Gobeo join us. He is the office managing partner for FordHarrison's West Palm Beach office. He focuses his practice on the representation of management in a broad range of employment matters, including against claims of discrimination, harassment, and wage and hour violations. He went to the University of Florida College of Law and has his degree from Stetson University as well. He handles lawsuits involving Fair Labor Standards Act, age discrimination, family medical leave, all of our favorite ones, including Title VII of Civil Rights and the Florida Civil Rights Act. He has litigating non compete and trade secret matters. He represents clients in charges of discrimination before the EEOC and the Florida Commission on Human Relations, along with the host of other agencies. So we're thrilled to have him here on what the heck is happening in HR. For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description. Thanks for coming back to What the Heck is Happening in HR. And today we've got David Gobeo, who is a partner with FordHarrison. Thank you so much for joining us today, David.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so David and I have known each other for a long time, but one of the beauties of LinkedIn is that you get to stay connected with someone even if you haven't talked to them in decades, which I think is probably true to say for us.
Yep, that's absolutely right.
So I saw a post on LinkedIn recently that caught my eye, and you were talking about neurodiversity. Talk to me about that and what made that post happen.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. We, in the employment law space, one of the laws that we deal with is the Americans with Disabilities Act. So when I advise businesses on how to protect themselves, how to comply with this law, dealing with accommodations for people with disabilities is very common. Every business has to deal with that. And in particular, dealing with people who have neurodiversity can be an issue that comes across the ADA, the legal compliance aspect. Now, there's certainly a business component to it, but that was what spurred my interest in the topic. And getting up to speed on what's developed in that area.
So tell us what it is, because I'm thinking, here I'm a person, maybe I've got a grocery store and a little shop I've opened up or a sandwich place. What is neurodiversity? What's that mean?
It means neurological differences in people that can lead to different behaviors, sometimes out of, it's a normal and natural variation in people, but a lot of times what you'll see is people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, autism, attention deficit disorder, ADHD, all of these types of conditions are considered within the neurodiversity realm.
And are you seeing an uptick in claims, ADA claims on these compared to what you had? Or is it a new level of education that employers are seeking around it? What has made it highlight? Because you never heard about it before. In fact, I said to my students last night, not everyone under ADA is in a wheelchair, because sometimes people just think if you can't see it, there must not be an issue.
Yeah, I think both points that you're raising are valid. Yes, I have seen some uptick, and it's probably partially related to an increase in awareness, of what autism is, of what Asperger's syndrome is, and being on a spectrum, and also a greater awareness of a business's duty to accommodate different conditions. To help people to be able to do their jobs. So it's a little bit of both. Sometimes I'm giving advice and I'm instructing a business on how to help their compliance with hiring and with keeping people employed. And then on the other side, it can be a charge or litigation where we're having to defend against a claim of somebody not being accommodated.
So let me just think about this for 1 second, because there are people who may be let's just say on the spectrum, and then there are people who get nervous during interviews, and you have people who are interviewing them going, I'm just not comfortable with them, even though they qualify for the position. How do you support? What do you say when the HR person goes, "What do I do, David?" The person's qualified, but they're, like, nervous about them. What do I do?
Like any good lawyer, I'll have to talk out of both sides of my mouth to answer this question. But I had a specific charge where a person was a nurse for 20 years and he had a great resume and good work history, and he applied for a different position, and the hiring manager said no. And he said the person was just strange in his opinion. And so we had an EEOC charge. I go to the mediation. The candidate walked in, he bowed, he saluted me, and then he shook my hand. And so when we were breaking out and I was meeting with the mediator, I said, he had claimed it was age discrimination. I said, it wasn't his age wasn't the reason they didn't hire him. It was these interpersonal skills, right? That you saw how he walked into the room and saluted me. I'm not in the military. Like, why did he bow? Right. And so, but the flip side of that coin is, if the business has a greater awareness of what the issue is, and can we put this person in a role where we can use their particular skills and talents to its best use, and at the same time complying with the ADA if they have requirements. So you're saying in a job interview, instead of a written question test, maybe it's an in-person interview, or maybe they get more time to take the interview, or but like I said, a greater awareness of what the condition is goes a long way to somebody understanding, okay, that person's not just weird, they have a condition, and maybe they don't make eye contact, maybe they don't shake hands, right?
Mhm.
So that it's those kind of things.
Yeah, thanks so much. When you said that story, there is a book that's great when you're doing international work, and it's called Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands. And so I thought of that while you were saying that. So at least a salute instead of a kiss. Huh? Yeah, but that just reminded me of that book. Well, David, I so appreciate you coming on with what the heck is happening in HR and giving us a little insight into understanding that neurodiversity is also covered in the Americans and Disabilities Act. And I'm looking forward to the segment we're going to follow up with, and that is going to be about what can workers do? So, what can employees do to support employees, their fellow employees, their coworkers, if they have neurodiversity issues to help with belonging in a community? And then also, what can the employer do to help find that right job where everyone succeeds? So I'm looking forward to that additional segment. So thanks for coming on.
You got it. Thank you.